Alright, so I got a special treat for you today. We are going to look over a video by our good friend Harman Smith. I only got a couple minutes into the video, so this is going to be mostly a fresh reaction. I figured that for the rest of it, I figured I'd watch it with you guys. So I'm going to go and I think I only got like this far in. So I'm going to press play and we will watch this together. Shall we?
I've seen a handful of PC gamers release statements celebrating the rise of PC. Like, ooh, PC is doing better than PlayStation and Xbox. Clearly, we're dominating the console space. Clearly, Nintendo is doomed. And the reality of the situation is, as always, quite a bit different.
I think we can take a shot every time Harman says the reality of the situation. Get your drink in hand and take a shot every time he says that.
PC is not succeeding. PlayStation and Xbox are failing, which is a completely different issue, which people really need to wrap their little minds around and really need to understand that PC is not and never will be competitive with Nintendo hardware.
Are you sure about that? We can pull something up. How many PC gamers are there? Globally, there are an estimated 908 million PC gamers, surpassing the console gaming market, which is estimated at 653.1 million players. And this here actually says there's 1.86 billion PC gamers worldwide. Either way, there's still more PC gamers than console gamers.
Hardware can innovate. It's much more affordable. It has way better games, more versatility, right? As we all know.
Yeah, more versatility. 30 FPS at sub 720p. More versatility. No graphics options. More versatility. You sure about that?
The Switch 2 is slated to be a huge, huge success. Whatever cope that like PC gamers have, going into this season, the reality is Nintendo is going to keep growing and growing and growing while the PC community continues to stagnate. Putting out absolute bombs of consoles like the Steam Deck while struggling to reach even.
You still think that the Steam Deck was trying to compete with the Switch? Bro, they're not even in the same fucking market. Like, This guy is gonna drive me to fucking drink. Like, I swear. I'm only a minute and 21 seconds in, and I already feel like tapping out. Like, but I'm gonna keep going. There's more.
Then a third of the relevancy of Nintendo Switch, right? You know, the highly hyped up and sought after PC games, you know, games like uh, Witcher 3, Overwatch, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, like none of that really comes.
I love how he always says Baldur's Gate 3 because he doesn't know how to say the name of the fucking game. Really. Baldur's Gate 3.
Close to what Nintendo puts out. You know, most times Nintendo puts out bigger games than those multiple times a year. And that's kind of the reality of the situation we're in. You know, seeing Xenoblade Chronicles X, you know, a decade later come out on Nintendo Switch and not only be a huge success story, you know, topping the eShop charts, it's also way more technically demanding and bigger than everything else on competing platforms. You know, it is bigger than Starfield, it is bigger than Baldur's Gate 3, it is bigger than Witcher 3, it's bigger than Skyrim, right? You know, Red Dead 2, like the reality is Xenoblade Chronicles X is big.
You are completely full of shit. There's no way that Xenoblade Chronicles, any of the Xenoblade Chronicles games, are more technically demanding than any of those games. You are completely full of shit. You're just coping at this point that the Switch is underpowered and can't run any of those games.
Bigger than that. And not only is that game better than all of its immediate competition, it also has gotten a number of sequels, all on the same platform. You know, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, 2, and 3. All
Those aren't sequels, those are remasters. You said Xenoblade Chronicles X, but those were the previous games remastered. The fuck are you talking about? Are you high? You must be smoking something. Like, get off that copium, man. Like seriously.
of which are just have just reached new heights on Switch and have really proven that Nintendo has complete dominance over the JRPG genre, right? They completely demolished Square. They stole their talent right out from under them, and now they are reaping that reward. And that is just
But I'm sure Xenoblade Chronicles, like I'm sure they're good games, but it, like, really? I mean, comparing them to like what, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Like, you're really gonna compare them to like the stuff that Square has released? Like, you're not gonna win this fucking battle. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You're not gonna win this fucking battle.
one example of what's going on in the world of Nintendo. You know, you will never get to play Xenoblade on PC. You will never get to play Fire Emblem. You'll never.
Actually, you can play Xenoblade on PC, but let's not tell Harman that. I don't think his heart can handle it.
Or get to play Super Mario or The Legend of Zelda, right? It's over, right? New Nintendo consoles are going to continue to get made. They're going to continue to be successful. New Nintendo games are going to continue to do well and not be available on PC. And more, you will see Nintendo and its brands encroaching on other pieces of technology. You know, alarm clocks, merchandise.
Oh yeah, because you really got me there. Nintendo alarm clocks. The PC Master Race just can't compete. Fucking alarm clocks. This guy's a fucking moron. I swear. Like he really like he's really like this guy this guy is gonna break me. I swear, like oh my god. I don't know how much more I can handle of this.
Saying, you know, film, what have you. We're already starting to see like the beginning of this. You know, recently, I've begun to realize just how the Pokemon trading card game has had this like major renaissance because, you know, all the propaganda we were told as kids, like, oh, Pokemon's a dying fad. You don't need those cards. Like, all of that has gone completely out the window.
Wait. Who was even saying that? First of all, how old are you? Because, like, you look like you may be about my age. I'm 31. I remember when Pokemon was, like, mega popular, like, when it first broke out. I remember when that shit was the fucking bomb. When Pokemania was, like, at its peak. I remember when you couldn't fucking escape that shit. Who the fuck was saying that? Who was saying any of that shit? Are you making shit up again? Like, are the voices in your head talking to you again? Are you off your fucking meds? Harman, take your fucking meds. I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna. Oh.
And more people are picking up the game all the time, and all of the misconceptions that were like shoved in your face from the beginning are beginning to fall apart, and people are beginning to learn, realize just how good the Pokemon TCG has been all this time, right? And the same can be true for the mainline games, the Pokemon brand as a whole, right? Like, all of the narratives we have seen in regards to Nintendo and its brand have completely collapsed. You know, this idea that PC gaming is growing and going to surpass Nintendo consoles is completely out of touch with reality. And I think you really have.
You're one to talk about being out of touch with reality.
Have to understand that because PC is not a closed platform, because there isn't one company that produces PCs and makes all the money off of it, like, it doesn't matter how well the PC platform does, right? Because Valve is not competitive, because Good old games is not, CD Projekt Red is not competitive because, like, Blizzard is not competitive, right? The reality is all of the big major PC gaming studios are simply failing in the face of Nintendo. And
The fuck are you talking about? Like, the PC market is literally eclipsing the fucking console market. There's literally so much fucking competition in the PC market when it comes to parts and, like, services and storefronts. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, fuck off. Just shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Jesus Christ. Sorry I'm getting fucking mad, but, like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just talking out of his fucking ass.
the idea that people have that something's going to come out of the woodwork and demolish everything Nintendo has done, it's just not going to happen, right? The Pokemon thing is a really good example because over the past several decades, we've seen people like throw out all these IPs, trying to diminish Pokemon's relevancy, trying to say it's dead, trying to say people have outgrown it or the games have gotten bad, and it's bigger than ever now.
I know you played Scarlet and Violet. I know you played it. And I know you couldn't have avoided the fucking glitches, the fucking broken state that that game was in. You gonna fucking tell me that the games are fucking good after that shit was released? You're really gonna sit here and bullshit me and tell me that Scarlet and Violet was good? Get on your fucking knees for Nintendo. Go, 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 go.
Now, not just with the video games, but with the animated series and the trading card game, right? People don't understand Pokemon's business strategy. The fact that it creates brand synergy throughout all of these different mediums that all collectively make Pokemon the biggest thing in the world, right?
So many big words. You probably don't understand a single word you fucking said.
There is no getting around it. There is nothing PC has that even comes close to that. And Pokemon isn't the only thing that Nintendo has going for it, right? Mario's getting bigger than ever, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Metroid. The list goes on and on and on. And with the advent of the Switch 2, when you can see just how like the entire industry is waiting for Nintendo to announce this thing and showcase all of its games for it, like it's safe to say this platform is going to be a success and companies are going to be struggling to keep people invested in the PC gaming ecosystem when they have a superior option right in front of them. And that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, sure, the console is gonna do fine it's probably gonna, like sales wise, it's gonna do fine. It's gonna do great, but that's not gonna deter the PC market. The PC market is doing better than the console market. There's no denying that. I just showed you a little bit ago that the PC market has more players than the console market. Like, so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. Got like 4 minutes left. Be strong.
Is that anybody who seriously plays gaming PC is going to be bombarded with the realization that the better games are constantly not being released for it. The new Zelda, new gaming IPs from Nintendo, just simply will not be available on PC. And eventually,
Look. I might be interested in getting a Switch too if the specs are good and the Zelda game looks good. But if the Switch was any indication, the games are going to end up on PC one way or another.
anybody who owns both will eventually realize that they play way more on Nintendo Switch than they do on PC, right? That is the...
Wait, let me back that up. I didn't quite get that. Let me process that. What did he just say?
Who owns both will eventually realize that they play way more on Nintendo Switch than they do on PC, right?
I'll be right back. You say that anyone that has both will play on Switch more than the PC. Okay. Well, I have my Steam Deck and my Switch. Guess which one I play on more? The Steam Deck. Fuck you. Like, making a lot of fucking assumptions right now. Like seriously assuming that anybody that owns both would like seriously, I wouldn't assume that shit about anyone. Like, whatever your preference, I don't fucking care. Like, you make it about some stupid fucking console war. I don't fucking care what you like. If you like Nintendo, fine. But you just fanboy about it and like attack other people for their preferences. And it's just fucking stupid. Like how fucking old are you? Like like you're about my fucking age. Grow the fuck up. Seriously.
That is the issue that these people cannot bring themselves to admit, is that the PC gaming ecosystem will coexist with the Nintendo Switch, but that doesn't mean that Nintendo is going to struggle or suffer. PC game.
I don't think anyone's really making that claim. And I mean, if they are, kind of dumb. But like, that's just another example of you like making up arguments to debunk. Like, it's just another example of the voices in your head talking to you. Like, again, just take your medicine and you'll be fine.
Gaming will, right? PC gaming will not be able to remain competitive. It will not be able to outperform what Nintendo is doing. It doesn't matter how expensive your graphic cards are, or like what game you're playing, or
My graphics card wasn't that expensive. And it can at least play games at 60 FPS. Including your Switch games, Harman.
you know, what you give your money to, what Kickstarter you support, right? It's all just going to end in the same way. Nintendo just doing better than you in some game you've probably never even heard of, right? Like, the shocking thing about Xenoblade Chronicles X, if you really think about it, is that this was a niche game on Wii U when it first came out, and now it's very safe to say that, like, by the time the sequel comes out, Xenoblade is going to be a major tentpole JRPG franchise for Nintendo, and will likely go on to outperform a good chunk of its competition from other companies, you know?
All right. Xenoblade series sales. I want to get more recent. Let's see, 2025. Okay, so 8.74 million copies. So that's the whole series. Now let's do a random example. Let's see. Oh. Baldur's Gate 3 sales. $15 million copies. One game. Harman. One game sold 15 million copies. Your argument is invalid. Shut the fuck up.
Chief among them, like Bethesda, Larian, et cetera, et cetera. Like, and Xenoblade is not the only IP that's doing that. You know, Pokemon does that every single time, and Zelda does that every single time. You know, we got a sequel to Breath of the Wild before, like, a sequel to Skyrim could even get off the ground, right? The difference in quality between Nintendo and PC is just impossibly wide. You know, they have not been cultivating.
You know, the only reason Breath of the Wild got a sequel before Skyrim is because Tears of the Kingdom literally just reuses assets from Breath of the Wild.
The teams to compete with like such masterclass developers. And this is going to become more and more apparent as more and more people stop delusionally believing the lie that PC gaming is somehow superior. Because when you look at all these YouTubers, when you look at what all they're talking about and what they do with their time, what exactly are they playing? That is like the real question here. You know, Baldur's Gate 3 is 100 hours long. Like, you can put more time than that into a Xenoblade game and not even, like, really scratch the surface of it. You know, I put about that much time into Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you know?
Baldur's Gate 3 is always on your mind, it seems. Cope harder.
The inability of the PC Master Race to control the narrative is becoming more and more apparent, right? The reason you're seeing so many people online, you know, advocate for the PC Master Race and advocate for PC gaming is because this is how they're spending their time. Watching YouTube videos, you know, commenting on Harman Smith videos, watching 6 hours.
And you spend your time on 4chan. Literally. That's how Harman spends his time. On fucking 4chan. That's probably how he gets these fucking, like, these arguments that he debunks, quote unquote.
Streams talking about other men on the internet, right? This is the reality of the PC man. YouTube videos, you know, commenting on Harman Smith videos, watching 6 hour streams talking about other men on the internet, right? This is the reality of the PC Master Race. They don't play games. They only hate yours.
You don't play games either. You just bitch and moan about Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring. Well, that's it. He ended the video. So, yeah. There we go. We can stop. We can stop watching Harman Smith now. Yay! We're free! I like legitimately I actually got fucking angry at certain points. So yeah. Bye.